Good evening. I am so glad to be back, and we're almost done wrapping up our Patriarch and Matriarch Family Chaplaincy 101. Now, remember, this does not mean that you are a licensed chaplain. By no means. This is a new program that I have designed for those who have decided to take some of the nuggets from my chaplaincy certification program. Then I really would appreciate it if you would share this information and get your pen and pad ready so you can get into our CEU free series number 4. All right. So, again, thank you for joining me. And I did say in the very beginning with all of this, I want to make sure I reserve the right to make sure that you don't think I'm appearing that I have arrived on anything and that I have any absolutes on anything on these educational sessions that I'm giving. However, I want you to also trust that God has given me grace, and He's experienced me with a whole lot of different things, and I'm shedding some light on some of those today, and also giving you some strategies that you can use up the road for your family. Now, for those who are interested in getting the CEU certification, and you'll need to get your log and paperwork to turn in for the certificate, please let me know, and we can talk about how you can get that. You can email me at betterfamily, the number 3, at gmail.com. Thank you so much for tuning in to this segment. Now, today I'm talking about something that I believe is very important for us to watch, especially those who are matriarchs and patriarchs of our family, because a whole lot of us take so much stress on, and that's what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about signs of caregiver stress and how it's very important for us to manage that, because it can become very, very chronic, and we don't realize this has happened to us. And anybody that's serving a family member, whether you're a matriarch or patriarch or not, or consider yourself as that one that's praying and helping in these areas also that are catastrophic or crisis, I want you to know that we need each other. Every family member who may be even caring for someone who's older or someone who is about to end life, or there's a grief situation going on, I want you to know as a caregiver and a chaplain, they are kissing each other in that role play, okay? So we need to understand that we're going to have these strains. We're going to have all these different areas in our lives, within families, but we've got to prepare to get in position to keep a watch on our stress. Stress is killing so many people today, especially those who work in hospices, those who work in taking care of family members, whether they're an adult or a child, or even if they are in hospice. We want to talk about taking some steps to preserve your own health, your own self-care and awareness of what you may be having to face as a matriarch or a patriarch of your family. So we want to talk about some keys here tonight to get you to understand how important it is and how, even though it's a very rewarding thing that you're doing to help the family, to be there for them. But caregiving can have many rewards, but most importantly, we want to make sure that the ones who we have stepped in to be that chaplain for the family, we got to look at some of those core values and things that we want to provide, and what am I doing that I may be overdoing to make sure that I'm letting people know that I care. So let's define what a caregiver is, because we already know what stress is, because we experience it every day, all of us. So what a caregiver is anyone who provides help to another person that's in need, such as, like I said, someone ill, someone who may be at end of life, but it could be your spouse, it could be your best friend, it could be someone disabled, it could be someone who is mentally impaired, those aging populations who are coming to end of life. However, family members who are actually or actively caring for someone older or that have this need, that don't self-identify all the time. Let's say we don't self-identify ourselves, not even as chaplains, and let alone people want to say that they're a caregiver. But we want to recognize some of the role here, and I want to start out by talking to you briefly about, this self-care and how important it is that we look at self-awareness. So let's think about the term self self-awareness. Because first of all, if you become aware of something, that means now you're trying to build your self-care. So that these two words kiss each other because they're very essential as far as personal and relational health. And so we want to make sure that we're watching our own, boundaries so that we won't get hurt emotionally or physical. I know you all remember I talked to you all about those 4 basic needs that we all have. And we've got to make sure that we gauge those, our acceptance, our identity, our security, and our purpose. We want to make sure that we embrace those when we're looking at our own self-awareness of our own personal needs while we're trying to serve someone else. So the purpose of us paying attention to self-care and self-awareness is so that we can practice this thing, so we can look at where we are in the thick of the work that we're doing or the service that you're providing. So we often forget about our own self. We forget about our own needs. And the horrible part of this is that until we begin to look at the real big picture, that we can no longer always see the little Jesus in people's lives, that we can no longer meet the needs, even some things that look simple for us. We've got to learn how to position ourselves to make sure that we're looking at our own self-care to see where am I in these different realms, of as far as the components of self-care. So the first component of self-care, we know that it's the physical health, okay? We want to make sure we look at that. The second component is intellectual health. All right? And the third component of any type of self-care is going to be where are we right now as far as our emotional lives? What are we doing as far as our emotional lives are concerned? Where am I? It's very important that we know as we start looking at the intellectual, the emotional, and the spiritual, and the physical health, we know then that we got to watch how am I allowing myself to get out of range of self-awareness of what I'm doing or why am I even doing it, because some people do for whatever reason that they're taking care of someone or serving as a chaplain in the family, getting all the information in and, supporting the pastor or those people who they know that are mothering or pastoring this particular family or, anyone that's actually within that realm of, on the team, so to speak, of the care that's needed for the family, even especially if it's the end of life for someone. But these 4 components of self-care that I just gave to you, I think it's important that we need to build this self-awareness with them. And so then this means that we're going to start having the understanding of our emotional hot spots, those things that we can see very, very clearly that we need nurturing in these places. We need to be calmed down in some of these places. So self-awareness is going to build self-care, and both of these are very essential, but we do need peer support. We do need family support. We do need to focus on those areas in our lives that we usually don't pay that much attention to, and those areas that we feel that we're giving a whole lot of attention to is really what's draining us. While we're doing good, we could be doing bad emotionally. And so we need these particular 4 key areas that I was talking about so we can grow and become better in what we're doing as a chaplain for families. So I want to jump right in. I pray you got your pen ready. You've been taking those notes down I've given you. I want to talk about taking care of yourself, okay? I want to talk about making sure that everything that you're doing even now, as you're working on to take care of yourself, you're also working on trying to make sure that all of the, the certain places in your life that seems to be overshadowing some things that maybe you're overdoing some work or you've done some service for maybe a family, someone that's outside of your family, or maybe you stepped in to try to help someone there at the church or be a part of the chaplaincy team there at the church. And we talk about family because church is like family as well. But when we talk about stress and how it can become so overwhelming, to the point that many of us don't take a good look at that. This is why we got to look at where am I? What am I experiencing? What are my risk factors as I am giving out and getting depleted and not getting enough? So a caregiver, as I said before, is one that's going to provide this help. But as population grows across the globe, as families are growing and people are still having babies and people are dying from a number of things, the thing that I want to bring out in this lesson is that we got to know that about 1 in 3 adults in the United States provides care for somebody, whether it's formal or informal. And so you want to make sure that what you're doing, if you're a family chaplain and you know that you're not credentialed in that and you have a desire, then you should consider taking the class so you can get what you need to become more aware of all the different cultural diversity issues and things like that when you're working with families who have different beliefs and have different cultural type of customs that they do. So when you're looking at some signs, I want to give you a few, and then I want you to take these down and start to really examine yourself to think about what is your greatest asset. Well, I pray to God that it's your greatest asset. It's going to begin with you and your family so it can filter down. But when you start experiencing stress, this can be very vulnerable to changes in your health, changes in your heart condition, and a whole lot of other things are starting to happen. So one of the things, number one, that I wanted to share that can include risk factors to see what are some of the signs I'm going to give in just a few minutes. But some of the risk factors I think is very important for you to know as a caregiver and a chaplain that's serving a family, or even for your own children who could be working alongside of you because maybe there's been a loss in the family. So you want to make sure that you're aware and you're watching and you can see where am I missing the mark on self-awareness. So number one is living with the person you are caring for. A lot of times changes are happening because you are there and you're very vulnerable because you live there. Number two, the social isolation. A lot of people experience this type of stress because of social isolation, because you have just been so pressed in that you're really caving yourself in and not getting out what you are putting in, and that is to love and peace, and so you want the serenity for yourself. And then number three, having depression. A lot of us are frustrated, we're exhausted, we feel this, I call it one of the emotions that many of us are experiencing every day that's bringing on stress, where people just working on your nerves, you're getting very angry. So these emotions shift, and these emotions are very uncertain, especially when you're a caregiver or a chaplain, because both the physical and the emotional realm is kicking in. It's very common for people to experience this stress. I know that's one thing that I was ending up in the hospital a whole lot, and the doctor could not figure out what was going on. They knew that all the signs were there, that I had a heart attack. My chest was hurting me. I couldn't function. I was very sick. But what it is, because we have so much stress going on around us, as I'm giving these particular stress risk factors, I want you to start thinking about yourself, and then I'm going to kick into giving you the rest of the signs of a caregiver stress. But the third thing is, I said, depression. Because I didn't know what was wrong with me. So I had a silent depression going on, along with stress. Majority of it was stress. So the doctor kept me there 3 days, and I said, I don't want to be here. And he said, then you need to let some things go. I understand what you do. He coming in, he talking to me, and as soon as my feet hit the floor from the bed, my blood pressure would shoot up. God was giving me a warning. And so and many times we got stresses that are silent. And that's number 4, financial difficulties. People are going through a lot of things that you're trying to help the family with. Some people having to take up a cup, and we're going to be talking about those advanced directives in our final class on next week. But we need to understand that financial difficulties can be a big issue, especially as a caregiver and a chaplain of the family, as a patriarch and matriarch of our family, because we're the one that's standing in the gap, praying for them and looking into seeing what's needed, for them to be very resilient in these hard places. But we've got to make sure that financial difficulties can weigh on us. Number 5, you have a higher need of hours spent caregiving. You got a higher number there. And what's going on is you're spending so much time giving out, so many hours serving. And many of you who are chaplains, who are taking this for, the continuing education part of it, you need to understand that the number of hours you put in, many times you're not getting that, refilling of your strength. And the number 6, the lack of coping skills and difficulty solving problems. Many times you can't think straight. I know I couldn't. I just couldn't do anything else. I lost sight of everything. Just a week ago, I had an overload on my brain, and I had to shut everything down. I couldn't talk, and so many of us, we doing good things and services and doing bad with stress. And so you've got to be very, very careful to make sure you take a good look at you and listen to your body when your body is telling you that I'm sick. Your body is saying, I need to rest. And so that's what I did last week. My brain shut down. I could not focus. I could not remember things. I'm already fighting that anyway, so I had to make sure that I shut down for at least a day and a half and not talk, and just lay down and rest. And I was falling asleep because my body was shutting down even though I wasn't ready to lay down. I know I'm talking to somebody. You don't even want to lay down. Before you know it, your body is shutting down. It's going to shut down a whole lot of places. This is why people have heart palpitations and everything else. So we got to look at this difficulty in solving problems that's causing many of us to have this stress that's way beyond any little thing. It becomes very chronic. And number 7, the lack of choice in being a caregiver or a chaplain. See, this is one of the things you feel like you don't have the choice. You're just there. So we got to look at, why am I here anyway? Why did I choose to do this anyway? Well, like I said, some is formal, some is informal, some is just simply that somebody got to do it. Okay, somebody got to be here to hold up the faith banner for the weak family, okay? And so that's what I want to share, just those risk factors. And now I want to jump into the signs. The signs of stress, okay? Now, as a caregiver, you may be focused on your loved ones, or you don't realize that your own health, like I said before, is in trouble, your own mental state. You got to watch these signs. So here's a couple of them as a caregiver and a chaplain. Risk number 1, you have this feeling of overwhelmness. You're constantly worried about the matter. You say you believe God, but yet you're still trying to pray for everybody else, and you're doing bad. So you're feeling overwhelmed constantly and worried when you say, no, I ain't worried about it. But within your spirit, in your soulish realm, this has rested and it's caused you to be worried silently, even though you may not be demonstrating that you're worried. You may not be saying anything about the situation that's really taking a toll on you. But emotionally, it's tearing you apart. Number 2, feeling tired often. I found out that was one of the alarm signals from my body. Everybody handles it differently. Some people have anxiety attacks when the body is telling you that I need you to calm down, I need you to rest me. We won't pay attention to those signs that our bodies are speaking constantly to us. It's almost like if you haven't eaten all day long, you're going to have a headache because your body is saying, hello, I need water, I need food, help me, you're killing me. But we need to make sure we pay, am I really tired or am I emotionally drained? Look at that to see. Number 2 says that. Do I feel too tired to move on? Should I be resting right now? And most of the time, it's a resounding yes. Please lay me down. Number 3, getting too much sleep or not enough sleep. Okay, I think most of the time in people's lives where they have been really, really overwhelmed doing this work, they have not gotten enough sleep because they have so much care. And so these chronic stressors, I'm going to point out some areas that I know that's probably hitting you right now, or those that you're serving. They may be in that place, and it may be speeding up their end-of-life process because of some areas that I'm going to bring out in a few minutes, and we don't want an early death. Many of us have seen people very young have died from stress, heart attacks. Number 4 is gaining or losing weight. Many people thought that I was under stress, so much stress that I wasn't eating because I am very dedicated to the work that I do for Kingdom. But, honey, I love to eat and be trying to eat all day long. I'm dropping weight because I really can't chew food like I want to because I don't have enough teeth to do that. But trust me, if I was able to eat like I normally could eat when I had all of my teeth that I had left, trust me, this weight would be on me. But because I can't eat that way, the weight is dropping. But I am by no means sick. I'm very healthy is what my doctor said because I'm watching what I eat, and I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm trying to eat healthy. And I think that's what you need to look at. Are you gaining weight? For whatever reason, maybe you're stress eating, because I used to do a lot of stress eating. I mean, I would eat all kind of pretzels and cookies and everything that the devil's trying to kill me with. Okay, so look at, am I gaining or losing weight? Is that person you're serving doing that? And then number 5, becoming easily irritated or angry. Oh, my God. I know we got a lot of that going on today. People are going to work with so much stress. They want to kill the boss. They want to choke the dog. They want to make sure that they tell the fish in the fish tank, you're going to drown. You're going to dry up because I ain't got time to give you no water. We need to look and see, why are you so angry? Why are you becoming so easily irritated or just walking around with a chip on your shoulder all day long? We need to look at the people under stress, can't even talk to their spouses or can't even give a decent answer or won't answer a question because they're so stressed they don't want to hear a sound. Been there, but what the real deal is that you got to take some time to see, what am I mad about? Or am I just mad at life, period, that I haven't done or conquered or achieved what I wanted to do or getting something straight in my life or a relationship, that I'm just mad and I'm irritated because everybody getting on my nerve. Everybody's a sapsucker. Everybody's a user and abuser, and this church, they're not treating me right and nobody likes me. You've got all these things that's going on with us. But we've got to take a good assessment on that to see if that stressor is hitting you. Number 6, losing interest in activities you need to enjoy, okay? That means you need to enjoy them that God has given to you an opportunity to do, and then you losing interest in activities that you used to enjoy. Okay, so some you need to get to do, and then some you used to do, you stop doing. What's going on? You need to ask God to reveal to you, why is it you don't want to do it no more? Why is it you made up your mind that this is something that you may need, but I don't want it? We got to look at that. I'm a very, very moody person. I don't like mourning stuff too much, and I don't want to do too much talking. I may be up, but I'm a great meditator. I meditate a lot the night before and the day, really, pretty much all day long, because I am constantly trying to check what is going on with this fruit. I don't want to preach. What is going on with this fruit in my heart about what I am feeling about somebody, about a matter? That's all I got to say. Look at, what are you losing interest in, your activities, what do you need to enjoy, or what do you refuse to enjoy that you used to enjoy? Number 7, feeling sad. We got a lot of people just looking around sad all day long. Even though you know that God has graced you, we have family members, people that you're trying to chaplain or trying to lift them up, but many of them are so sad. Many of them are just having a hard time when actually what it is that their heart is broken. And I just experienced that a month ago. My heart was broken, and many of us are having heart attacks. So many people have had heart attacks because they got a broken heart. And so we need to look at what's breaking your heart, what's hurting you to the point that you feel that, I'm sad. I know I got to get over it, but I'm sad. Everything about life has made you sad. Or you're silently sad, but you got a good smiling face with everybody else. You just know when you get home, you're sad, you lay down, you want to medicate it by a drink or wine or pills or something. So what is going on when you're getting so stressed that you've gotten so sad you got to self-medicate? Number 8, having frequent headaches. Think about this when you're serving these populations in your family or your own children or your spouse, or those that you're leading in churches, especially if you're the church chaplain. Think about this. Having these frequent headaches, having bodily pain or your physical problems that's going on with your body. Your body is talking to you. We can't be little Jesuses to everybody. So we got to make sure that you got to let your leader know, that you got these headaches and your body is, racking with pain, your knees hurt. We got so many people dealing with their knees, it ain't funny. So let's look at the real big picture here. If your body is sick, can you be good to anybody? What can you do? Matter of fact, you're going to get an additional infirmity because you're trying to do good while doing bad. I don't want to preach. Number 9. Abusing alcohol or drugs. That means including your own personalized prescription that the doctor gave you. See, too much stress, especially when it's a long-term going on, it can harm your health. And many of us are doing things that we think is helping us by taking these pills and drinking a little wine. They say nothing wrong with drinking a little wine, but many people drinking wine so much that they just using it as a pacifier to be able to relax their nerves when they just done it to the point that it's become addictive. They got to have them some wine. Now now you're a winola. You're doing this drinking, and it really ain't for you to relax your nerves. It's because you really are becoming an alcoholic, okay? And you're on the slick, on the silent. And so as a caregiver, and as a chaplain, you're more likely to experience these because, number one, you are a nurturer. You have these symptoms that are heavy on you. I call it a heaviness. And we got to make sure that we know that God will never give you a burden that you cannot bear. Think about things that are giving you signs of depression, anxiety. In addition to that, you need to make sure to see whether or not you're not getting enough sleep and so on. As I said, look at your diet. Think about those things. Look at your medical issue that's already going on, especially if you're serving someone else, okay? This mental health issue today is a big issue. So I want you to pay attention to these areas that your body is talking to you about. Many of us got diabetes. Many of us have all type of other sickness and disease that are on the rampage today. Lupus, cancer, breast cancer is on the rampage with so many women. We got to look at what are we doing that causes us to ignore our body talking to us. Now, here's some strategies I want you to think about before I get off here. I want to give you these last two. And talking about how to manage this thing. First of all, we need to look at what is the emotional and the physical demands that I need. Okay, as a caregiver, as a chaplain for my family, what can I do that won't strain me, even when I'm, or drain me, even when I am giving them my best resilience in this situation, because you're a very resilient person, you're a very nurturing person. So that's why we got to take advantage of all the resources we possibly can who's working with you. Don't think just because you're taking this class and you know that you're becoming a chaplain for your family that the book stops there. If you want to become a certified chaplain, then we need to look at a whole lot more than the conversations that I'm having here, because you got to understand all types of areas of care when it comes in different types of chaplaincy services, and especially those things that are crisis that you are really standing in the gap for as a matriarch or a patriarch. There's a lot of things that we got to do to make sure that we're managing, the stress, managing the nurturing that we're giving out so that we won't be overwhelmed. So the first thing I want you to think about in, caregiving stress and giving that part of you that you're looking at all dimensions for your emotional and physical demands of your own health. You want to think about you need to accept help, number one. Okay, accept help. Prepare a list of people that you know that can help you, or that in your family that you know that you can sit down and talk to about a matter that you may be covering or having to stand in the gap for, or preparing for end-of-life ceremony. We need to look at how are you going to accept the help. Is there anybody that can help you? Number two, focus on what you're able to do, okay? Don't think that you can continue to be a little Jesus in situations because everybody's counting on you and you don't want to let nobody down. No. It's normal to feel guilty sometimes when you know you can't do everything. You got to understand that nobody's perfect. There's no such perfect, not even a medical doctor in this world. There's only one perfect being that is spiritual to us, and his name is Jesus. He's perfect in all ways, okay? So you got to believe that you're doing your best, but you cannot make decisions for anybody else to try to make sure that they're giving you back what you're putting out when you don't even give it to yourself. Number three, you want to set some realistic goals, okay? You want to break this large task kind of mentality and take some smaller steps one day at a time. That's what I always say. That is one of my mottos, and that's one of my statements in the information I give out for my organization and ministry. I believe in reaching one person, one family, one issue at a time. So we want to prioritize. You want to make lists. You want to establish a daily routine that you're setting goals that you know that you can conquer and not trying to get the whole world done in one day. And, you can begin to say no to some of these requests that you know that's going to drain you, especially if you're doing stuff during a holiday time that you're trying to get everybody together because they're doing a memorial of some kind. You want to make sure you're being very, very careful as a family chaplain that you're putting this together. You want to set goals about what you're willing to do and what you're not going to be able to do. Number four, we're talking about managing now. You want to get connected. You need to find out about any type of resources, again, any type of community services that are free, and there are many out there that can help you. Many of the communities that have classes and things like that can teach you on all kinds of different areas of end of life, hospice, things about caregiving, the whole nine, even for children. Many of these kids who are mentally ill or that are disabled physically, you want to make sure you get connected in giving the right caregiving resources for your family or making sure they get what they need. Number 5, you want to join a support group if you have to. And that group don't have to be a whole bunch of strange people you don't know. But you want to get with people, when I say support group, I may need to say support systems within your family. That you all can support each other. You can provide validation and encouragement and prayer and all these things and problem solve, And these people that are in your support group, I'm going to call team of the family, they're going to help you understand and see some things that you might not even be seeing for yourself because they're part of your support team as a family. So you want to create this meaningful type of support team, and you can build that up. You know what sibling, you know what relative, and you know what's best for the family team members that's going to be a part of your family chaplaincy group. Number 6, you want to also look at social support, okay? It's very important that we make an effort to stay well connected with those people that are going to give us a social environment so it won't, be connected with those people who can offer this non-judgmental type of mentality. So sometimes when we have family members that we know that's grumbling and complaining all the time, you got to seek outside, okay? You want to set aside time each week or once a month to connect with people to just, do something different. Go to a breakfast, have a lunch at your house. I know COVID caused a lot of us to stay back, but it won't hurt you to have 1 or 2 people that you know that is trying to keep safe. So find some social support that you can make an effort to get a family member or a friend that y'all can get together and not talk about people or the family, but to make an emotional support system there during this time as you're serving as chaplain or caregiver. Then number 7, you want to set some personal health goals. That's one of the things that I have done and I'm still working on. I'm working on my own personal health goals. I'm reading a lot of labels. I'm studying about things that I know that I love to eat and to learning how not to eat so many of those things. Carbs and cookies and things like that and sweets is killing us. We won't leave out salt and sugar. We need to make sure that we paying attention. So set some personal health goals that you know is going to help you be a good caregiver and chaplain, to make sure that these goals that you establish is going to make sure that it includes rest, okay? Here lately I've been doing so much rest, I almost forgot that I had to do this particular session today. But I'm going to get my rest. People say, Dr. Murphy, you never rest. You always, no, they think that because I'm on here. But I'm scheduling my stuff, just like you're going to hear this timer go off in a few minutes. It's all scheduled. It's all time. And I have to do that because I do a lot of things. So I want to make sure that my time is not drained. I have to have time to be refreshing myself. So my personal health goals is very important. It's number 7. You want to find time to physically be active even. You want to make sure that you find the right diet that you can get on, and we don't want to leave out drinking plenty of water. That's one of the ones that I fight with because I don't like constantly going to the bathroom with all the water I'm drinking. But as a caregiver, many of you, we know that we care so much. We lose sleep sometimes because the spirit of heaviness, especially for those who work in hospice that may be hearing this, or those that right now are serving those that are going through end-of-life process. But you've got to pray for God to show you how to get you some rest. If you don't get that quality sleep, if you don't get a long enough sleep, it can cause a lot of health issues because stress is already in, and that lack of sleep is causing a lot of problems. So you got to talk to your doctor if you have to. I know I talked to my doctor when I know I had made some mistakes on some things that I had done, that I needed to get some help about how to refocus on some things that I know was not good. Then number 8, I just said that, see your doctor, okay? If you need to get what you need to do, any vaccines you need to get them. I'm not promoting any vaccines from COVID, not even the flu shot. What I am saying is do what you know that you have been doing and keep it up to make sure you remain healthy and you remain strong for the position that you're in, and make sure you tell your doctor what could be troubling you, and let your doctor know that you're your family chaplain and a caregiver. Let them know what you're going through. Sometimes the doctor may have an answer to something just as basic as, I need you to try to rest or put your feet up at least twice a day. Because when my doctor gave me something that simple to prop my feet up a little higher than, to lift it up above my heart, I was shocked how refreshing that made me feel and stronger. So then I want to now give these last couple of nuggets so you can look at the fact that you're not alone in this. But many times we don't ask for help when you know you need help. Unfortunately, a lot of attitudes from people have caused us to be isolated, has caused us to feel, overwhelmed, or just simply just like we just can't get over the ones who want to sapsuck us for everything, ain't never bringing nothing to the table but grumbling and complaining. And so we want to make sure that we look at the fact, even though you're not alone, you do need to get rest for care, okay? Rest for care is very important. That's my bell. Rest for care is very important. So that means even if you're doing in-home resting, you need to find a way to get away from everybody, so you can find a way that you can steal away and be with God and refresh, do whatever you want to do. Just read a book, do something. But I know it's hard to even imagine if you're taking care of someone that's at end of life and leaving them. But you're going to have to take care of yourself because you're not going to be any good to them. You got to take a break. You got to look at the best things that you're doing for that person. It's being available for them. And they don't have to always know that you're on a respite time. You just need to take that time and make sure they know that you're going to be out for a little bit. And just pray that God will grace you to be back for them. But you're going to have to make sure that you don't wind up where they are from stress. And most of the communities today, they got a lot of respite care organizations out there that'll help you to come in and take care of your family member, or you get some respite care by getting away. You and your spouse or somewhere, go and get you some respite time, along with the Lord, or just to get a retreat away to strengthen yourself, okay? Now, we know that 6% of the caregivers today, they work outside the home. But we're talking about those that are inside the home, those that are taking care of family members, those that are, respite or even just home health providers, those that are actually doing the caregiving for the mother or the father or those who are not able to take care of themselves. So you want to make sure that you be a part of the team, those people who are doing the work, and then you, because you are that family chaplain, you got to make sure that this caregiving is also spicing out time for yourself without isolating yourself, without feeling that you feel guilty that you are wanting to go away, okay? So if you want to try to get some other programs to see about where you can get help or respite care, you can go on and Google the Area Agency on Aging and just do Area Agency on Aging, and they can help you to learn about some other community resources that can help you and your family during this time, especially if there's a loss. They have a lot of different grief things that you can take. They also have people that work in respite that can help. You can Google it, Area Agency on Aging, and just go on. They have a lot of wonderful different things on that site. Let me jump on to the chronic parts that happen really quick so I can get off. Next week I'll be closing out, which will be the last part of the lesson. So if you're interested in that, again, if you want to receive the certificate, let me know. But next week I'm going to close out with making sure that we look at managing your greatest assets. And then I'll be talking about that in the advanced directives closeout of this. But what I want you to see in this particular one is how this chronic stress affects you physically, okay? You got to unwind, and you got to make sure that you are aware and work toward those goals, like I said before. And you got to act for the help. Don't just think that you can do it all, but these chronic areas that stress has caused many of us to be in is, number one, our blood pressure. Your blood pressure goes up. It increases. Your heartbeats start to go faster because it tightens the blood vessels. So you got to think about how these positive and these negative effects are coming on you behind stress. And then the second one is the higher blood sugar, okay, because the liver releases these extra, like glucose, into the bloodstream, and it can easily cause risk. So you can come into almost a type 2 diabetes type of position and don't even realize it because of stress. okay, it can become very chronic and cause that. And then the other thing, you have stomach problems, okay. It can be very, very exacerbating. It can make it very irritable in your bowel, where your bowel becomes very, very inflamed. That's what I suffer with because I carried everything in my stomach. And so my stomach has gotten into a lot of trouble over the years because I carried everything in my stomach. Like some people carry everything on their shoulders or in their head or in their chest. Everybody have a different place where they hold stress. I hold mine in my tummy. So I'm constantly fighting tummy troubles where my bowel is irritated and inflamed because I'm holding in stress. What I'm really holding in, that sounds funny, you ever want to jab slap somebody. So I hold everything in my belly that I'm trying not to say and trying not to do and getting very ill. So now that I know how to manage it, I have to make sure that I let it roll off and take it to Jesus. And I stop worrying about it, as the song say. But we got to look at it. It gives you tummy trouble. It gives you moodiness. It produces anxiety or depression, okay? It tenses your muscles. I hope you're writing these down. It tenses your muscles, and it may lead to all kind of cramping and even gritting your teeth in your sleep, and you don't even realize it. I looked at the stress that one of my granddaughters was going through one time, and she was under a lot of distress, too, because she was getting kicked out of school. And so this particular night I had her stay in the room with me, and she slept. And the whole street, I kept hearing something like it was making a crackling noise. And I looked, and I got up. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew it was in my bed because I told her she could sleep with me. So I got up, and I went really close and looked at her. And she was grinding her teeth. I said, Lord, help us all today. My grandbaby was grinding her teeth. And she said, Grandma, I don't know why I do. I feel like I'm doing it. My teeth hurt sometimes when I wake up. And that's because she has so much tenseness about what she is facing that she is internalizing it and gritting her teeth through the night. Then the next one is headaches. It triggers tension. This stress is nothing to play with. It gives you a headache, and some people get even migraines behind stress. And then the next one is vision problems. Well, many of us at my age already know that stress is not causing my vision. It's simply because I love to read, and I'm always on the computer doing some work. And so we have to watch and monitor that as well. But vision problems can come from stress. It may cause a lot of dry eye. I find myself, my eyes have went under stress because I've watched the computer too long. And one of the things we need to learn how to blink. Blink your eyes. Just when you're reading or whatever, you got to blink at least 3 or 4 times while you're on these systems and when you are reading. If you don't blink, your eyes dry out, you get blurry vision, you have eye strain, or you have this sensitivity to light. You got to be very, very careful what stress is trying to do is destroy us. And stress can mess up your vision. Then the thing, I'm not numbering these, I hope you are. And then indigestion. One of the things about stress when it becomes chronic, it gives you indigestion, it worsens and becomes heartburn. It also gives you this reflux, what they call GERD, where you just seem to have this reflux all the time. And that reflux and this tummy stuff are both are trying to attack my body because many of the things that I do, because the Lord has given me the gift, and the enemy wants to use it overtime with me because he knows I'm not going to quit until I feel Daddy God is satisfied. But God ain't in it when I overindulge in something that's giving me indigestion and stomach problems. That means now that I have silently work to have the excellence that I want to give for God to be glorified with, but now I have this indigestion, this stomach problem because this chronic stress may be trying to slip up on me. We have to watch our bodies when they're talking to us. Then the next one is skin problems, which may lead to flare-ups of acne. You see some people break out with pimples and bumps everywhere. They call it a rash, but actually what it is stress, okay? Some people hair fall out, Some people can't even keep their hair growing in a certain spot in their bodies because the enemy has allowed stress to literally let that be a point in their head where the hair actually falls out. Okay, so they have eczema, they have, like I said, they have psoriasis. All these things flare up with skin problems. It's breaking out, you know. I see here lately every now and then I'll see a little bump on my face. I'm like, where'd that come from? Oh, you know, not that I'm trying to look beautiful, but I'm trying to figure out, at my age, acne, the devil is crazy. I started working on it right away. You got to go. We need to understand that these skin problems are because a lot of us are dealing with chronic stress, and it's affecting us. Also, and the next one is our reproductive system. Many people can't have babies. Many people don't understand why they can't be pregnant, because they're full of stress on their job, they're full of stress on the marriage, they're full of stress of trying to get pregnant, they're just full of stress with their children, the whole nine. Stress of having to even be a caregiver or take care of that family member or their sibling. I know I'm talking to somebody. And so when you look at the reproductive system, if you're trying to get pregnant, it can affect fertility, especially in men and women. It gets worse with us, especially women when they had a menstrual cycle, and women who are in the, how they say, in the golden age. Now you're having hot flashes, and you know, and many men, they have this erectile dysfunction. They can't even perform. So we look at what stress is doing to us, causing marriages, you know, in their marriage bed to be bad and everything else, because you're too stressed. Everybody that made you mad, now you taking it out on me. So we need to look at, what am I allowing to destroy my marriage? And its name is stress. It's affecting you. And finally, my last one that I want to cover is sleep difficulties. Many of you, it's making it harder. I always say, and I know I went longer this time, but I'm going to make sure hell die on this situation, on this one. But we need to look at that sleep difficulties are there, okay? And it makes it hard for us to go to sleep or even stay asleep when we're constantly getting up and thinking about what I'm going to do, how am I going to do this, how am I going to deal with them tomorrow. I got to go and have a meeting with my boss. Oh, they're going to write me up. Oh, God, I'm about to lose my job. Oh, God, oh, the doctor got to give me this bad report. They say my blood sugar was this. Or, you know, my blood pressure been up. I got to change diet. I got to be on dialysis. You know, the enemy wants to bring all these things that's causing us to have sleep difficulties, or we stay in sleep all the time. Well, I'm going to stop right there. I think I went way over my time than I wanted to be, but I bless God that I had a chance to talk to you, where you get a chance to see what I'm talking about here and how important to know that you are not alone. And I want to make sure that you know that to seeing your doctor is nothing wrong with that, but I want you to know how hard it is for so many people to even imagine that they can get through these things. One reason why we can't get through them, many of us, because we're trying to do it in our own strength, okay? There are resources out there. And one of the things we're going to make sure the devil don't get to do, and that is to make us believe that we need to leave our family members alone and don't try to help them when we know that God has put you there as a matriarch and a patriarch to stand in the gap and pray. But most importantly, he wants you to make sure you understand that daily you need to make sure that you look at what he's showing you to take care of yourself. It is a rewarding thing to be able to be there, to take care of people. But you also got to know that caregiving begins with us. Amen. God bless you. Love you so much. Talk to you soon. Be sure and share this. We're going to have our final session on next week. God bless you.